then you can go set aside and go to the number 2, and so on down the line. The problem is, everybody puts cost as a potential decider, but not the major one. The major one is your experience and how good you are, and then cost will be looked at. What you can't do is put yourself in a situation where the first part, say that pre-construction project management is free, and then you select, quote, the best firm, which, well, of course this guy has been involved from day one, has made lots of suggestions, knows all of you by name, your birthday, whatever. If you're the attorney for the other side, we're going to get sued day one when we select that person to do the work, because you just cut out everybody else from having an opportunity for a fair and impartial ability to present their project to you. At least the appearance of it. And remember, it's the appearance of impropriety, not actual impropriety, that causes us to balk.
So, can I ask a question? So, the methodology that Gordon outlined here is, on the face of it, is there anything that's inherently wrong with that?
Truth being a huge defense here, I haven't read that. I've been a little tied up with another property in town, so I haven't seen that for the last week. And Gordon did give it to me, but I told him I wouldn't be able to see it ahead of time.
So just to hit the highlights, essentially what we're talking about is hiring a project management firm, and we can define what the what that job consists of.
Sure.
We've already put together a whole scope of work that's, I don't know, 100 different bullet points, which gives the range of services required. But we can narrow that down to a couple of sentences or a paragraph to define what a project manager does. But I think the important thing, considering what you've been saying, is that we would define at the very front end all the services that are required by that project manager from the very beginning, so even before we hire an architectural firm, all the way to the end. So after we've occupied the building, they're still involved with closing out the punch list, with helping us with furniture, with IT, with move coordination. So it's over the entire length of the project. So there are no additional services that we will be, that they could influence further on. We've defined all those services at the front end. So if we have something along that structure, do you still see that there's a significant problem?
That's fine. The problem is when you say that whoever that project manager is, they tend to come from architectural firms, engineering firms, or construction firms.
No, actually, no, that's not the case. These will be, what the discussion that we had with Gordon is that what we will be soliciting is professional project management firms. So not from an architectural firm and not from a general contractor. That's why we had a discussion about construction management is inappropriate.
If that is the case, by the way, those people in those firms, they all started off in one of the three. There is, I've never seen anybody else, Rose, and I don't know, there's nobody else out there that has come out of college and become a project manager and stayed a project manager and just became the way they get their value for you hiring them is by being in one of those venues and then getting out of it. But when they get out of it, what's important for you, and by the way, I'm fine with everything you define. 100 bullet points, 1,000 bullet points. The scope is everything. Their scope is totally separate from the design and construction entities. As long as it's totally separate, and there's no, that was my cross-pollination, as long as they don't spill over, it's fine. But I think what Dee Dee's saying, there may be somebody out there that says we want to design, we want to be the project manager, and then design it, maybe even design it and build it, and do all these services wrapped into one. There could be huge problems with that.
Okay. It might save us $5 million, but I guess there's huge problems.
If somebody's in jail for 10 years, they probably don't care if they say it's $5
million. I don't deal with what
million.
you deal with. I don't want the town sued, but I really get frustrated when it's coming out of everybody in the town's pockets.
Me too.
Good. Well, then we'll have to change it.
I don't think we need to. I don't. I think the process that we have is going to get us the most cost-effective building that we can. And it's going to be an open, above-board process. I mean, I don't see that that's an issue.
This wasn't going to be a below-board process. The names of the people I have are fairly above board.
Rose, can I ask you a question? So, in going out for the RFP for the best qualified vendor, architect or whatever, can't we do a blind response so that we don't have their names and everything on it, but we just know their qualifications?
You can do an RFQ,
Yeah.
a request for qualifications, but it has to be projects, they have to give you their, it's based on their background and what they've done.
So it can't be
And you
blind.
can't check their references,
Resumes.
you can't check their references if you can't say who it was.
But then the cost is separate. We don't look at the cost, we just look at and that's like a separate envelope.
Exactly,
Right?
that's what we did with the
That's what
firms we picked before. We
Right.
didn't even open the other envelopes.
So there was no, because I think that's what I was responding to what you were saying, because you were saying that, we always kind of look for the, best price as well as the best qualified.
It's in there.
But-
It's in there in the sense that even when you have the best qualified, if you open the envelope and there's sticker shock, it is not rare to go to the second best qualified and look to see if they're still the same sticker shock.
Well,
I think
Yes.
that the important thing, though,
Yeah.
to Clive's point here is one, it's a clearly defined scope of work, and it's a not-to-exceed fee, and so there's no connectivity between the design and the construction components of the project. And nobody in this person's firm's gonna bid on it, their sister's not gonna bid on it, their spouse isn't gonna bid on it, those sorts of things.
yeah, explained like that, I don't see a problem. with
I
what
don't
he was
either. But
explaining.
that isn't how the question was posed to me. The question was posed more along Dee Dee's lines. What if somebody wants to do two or more of these aspects of the construction project, the design, construction, engineering, all these aspects that, when all put together, have a name called the big project of some kind.
Or if they're affiliated with the construction
Sure.
that we choose,
Yeah.
that could be a problem.
Mhm. And even, as much as I have been able to find ways of authorizing huge donations to the town that are not problematic, that avoid bidding and RFPing and all these other aspects, prevailing wages, the problem still exists. If you split the project into different aspects, you still have to deal with those other ones separately, individually, and applying the law equally and correctly to them. This is not a fun part of my job. Abating a drug house is a lot more fun than pulling the rules out of the bag for projects like this. But the bottom line is, when I'm quoting from ethics, conflicts, and how California law applies to it, those things get really serious, and I feel like I have an obligation that's at least threefold: to protect the committee, the city council, and the contractors. Because a lot of these contractors, I'll tell you right now, out there in the private sector, if they haven't done a lot of public sector work, and nowadays, there's not as much work to go around, public sector work all of a sudden looks better. And there are a lot of rules that we play with, the whole public contracts code, they've never dealt with it. And so we need to be careful that we're protecting them too.
Okay, final answer?
Yep.
Okay, let's do this. Whoever wants to pursue other options, go ahead. We'll just continue with the project management solicitation or, the discussion and move forward with that. If something else supersedes what we're planning to do, the traditional way, that's fine, as long as it clears through legal and all that. But let's just kind of move forward with the project management as we defined it then. Is that okay, Clyde?
I think it'd be more helpful if we had just one approach, honestly. I think having a dual track.
Well, it's not a dual track, it's just, if say Dee or somebody else, it's, they're just having discussions with, legal and Bill and, getting whoever else lined up. I mean, but maybe we should just continue.
Yeah, I
And
certainly.
we can't stop
yeah.
those discussions, but if something supersedes us and offers service that really you can't turn down,
That's true, yeah,
there's nothing lost.
yeah, I suppose.
If I may, I think what I heard was, first of all, I need to make some changes in the nomenclature. That's great. I think it would clarify it and help me as well to clarify the town engineer's role versus the project manager's role.
Yeah.
Secondly, once Bill gets freed up, I'll have him review all this stuff and make sure that's okay. And it sounds like if there are alternate delivery methodologies, they just need to be discussed with the town attorney, because there may be, and I can tell you, having worked with Bill, he's very clever about finding, sort of these ways, that there may be a way of defining it in a way that works for everybody's benefit. So, I don't think, I'd hate to throw cold water on somebody who said, I'm willing to give you, basically $1 million worth of free work. When Steve called and said, here's this guy, Phil Warrens, I ran it by him, he had some input, and then I called Phil, he was delightful to work with, and, very helpful, and a lot of that showed up as part of the input that I put together into the cost estimating. So it was, for me, it was a godsend.
Right.
And I would have hated to have turned that down.
Right, for that particular discussion, he's one person, and you actually said, can you come on board? And, we discussed it, and Steve was the first person to say, he's just a one-man office who writes, scribbles things. This size of this
Right.
project warrants something other than one man at, his home office
Right.
scribbling down numbers.
Right.
So he said that Phil would be glad to jump in occasionally, but it's not what we need right now.
Right.
So, and what's more, Phil would never continue on and try to be the general contractor on this project either. So, there are all sorts of things, but that was just an example that he brought up. But anyway, so let's, what, in order to meet the May deadline to have this document or this staff report presented to council, when do you need this cleaned up?
I think, well, I can clean this up, the rest of this week, and then get it back to the subcommittee.
Okay.
And then we can work together, and even, I think there's time, even get it to the CCAC before the May council.
There's a May 12th CCAC meeting, second
Right,
Monday,
May.
and May 21st council meeting.
Okay, so there's even time for you to have it. But I think, first the work can be done in the
Right,
subcommittee. Now, you've all had the benefit of Bill's input.
Right, and this was a great start, we just wish that we had, we got it Friday, and the three of us kind of said, wait, we wish we had one more round of this before it was
Sure.
presented. So this is a good backbone to what we're all thinking about, we just needed some clarity and, to clean it up so that we're not confused.
Exactly, and I think we have the time, and I'm not sure when Steve's gonna be back, but whether it's, next week or,
Sunday.
oh, okay, so
Back
maybe we
Sunday.
can set
We can meet
something for next week, Monday or
And that'd be
Tuesday.
good. So do you need to make a motion, or can we just continue the subcommittee?
Just direct staff. Just direct staff to do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, I will say that this conversation has helped a lot, because before, when I looked at the two descriptions of what you called construction management service and town project management service, there's some difference, but there's more overlap than difference.
I agree.
And I came out of this going, do we really need this person when we have you? So I think you need to be clear about where those differences are, because that's kind of the key thing.
yeah, we were confused too, but anyway, we cleared that up,
No, I
amongst the
think
three
this
of us.
conversation has helped with that.
Yeah, and, give yourself a different title,
Well,
you said city engineer or
I
something,
think
but,
that works fine.
yeah, it just got
It's the same
everybody
pay.
confused.
Right, I don't get a dime for it.
No,
All right,
okay.
because I want to avoid conflicts of interest too.
Good, I hear you. I think that's the message this afternoon. Okay, good, okay, item number, we're done with that, no motion. Visioning. Oh, wow, okay. Visioning process for the Civic Center project. That would be Dee Dee.
Okay, so the objective today is for this, is to throw out a couple of suppositions and get people to freewheel and come back with some words, phrases, whatever they could see happening, want to see, descriptions of this project. More security, more library services, more fun things at the library, whatever. I'm not good at that, but I throw out the initial beginning of a sentence or phrase of imagine if. And so start thinking about it. Please, people throw stuff out because we need it for marketing.
So do you want to do that today?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what Gordon bought, this little pad and some marking pens. And I'm a horrible writer, so let's go.
imagine if there was a there in Atherton.
Would you like purple or some other color?
I don't care. Nobody's paying me to make an artsy thing like we did for that plan.
But I love your t-shirt, your t-shirt. You are in a big Easter way. You're gonna come to the Easter egg hunt on Saturday?
No,
Those little kids will be grabbing at you to put
my
in your
kids are
basket.
too old.
Come on,
You have to hook her, she has to go hunting
you
rabbits.
gotta go hunting rabbits.
No.
Okay.
Mine do too, but it's money.
Well, that's
Come to
gonna.
my house. They're not gonna go hunt for eggs.
Wow.
Okay, so come on, somebody start. Imagine if, Christine.
Okay, sorry. Imagine if we were proud of our town center.
Hey, come on, folks, let's
For
go.
this year.
Imagine if we saw trees rather than parking. cars being-
Oh, yes.
Phil, come on.
We're
Rose.
thinking.
Okay, okay. Come on, staff can do it too. You guys have been involved, so help us out because we need to sell the whole thing.
I mean, one of the first things that comes to mind is, for me, the library is a place to come together, as a town.
Gathering place, would you say, because that's what the green is meant to be?
Town lawn, is it town green, what's it called?
Town green.
The town green?
No.
Imagine if there was a place where people in Atherton could meet and would want to go there.
Yeah, a center.
Now, one thing that has
It's gotta
been
be short.
advised, or the ladies in Portola Valley said to me, forget the negative stuff. So not where they want, I mean, imagine wanting to be there. Wrong kind of,
Okay, so
connotation.
a place where people would enjoy
Want to
meeting.
go, or, yeah.
So we can't imagine if the buildings didn't fall down the next.
That's
earthquake.
right.
No, that's the kind of thing we need to leave behind us, because it's hard to sell that.
Yeah.
Imagine if we had an earthquake and everything fell down.
All right, imagine if we had an earthquake and all the buildings stood up.
That's
We'd
awesome.
really be in trouble.
Imagine if the buildings allowed for convenient conduct of city business.
That's, yeah.
Sufficiency.
That's something that we do have.
Seems to me there were some good words in HMC's presentation someplace, but I don't have them with me.
Right.
She has
Yeah.
some good words.
The
I can-
text of the master plan has more,
Yes.
Some good stuff, we gotta go through and cherry pick that stuff.
I love the there.
Yeah, I like
Imagine
the
the
there
there for Atherton Civic Center.
Well, I've gotten some,
Pushback on that?
yeah.
A there?
It doesn't mean, some people don't know that it means anything.
It must be
We'll
old.
change it to a sense of place.
Yeah, and so the there doesn't.
Sense of pride, sense of
include
place.
everybody.
Yeah. I like that, sense of place. Pride, place.
Are we gonna have a coffee shop?
Imagine a food truck.
Oh, I think we gotta have a once a night food meeting down here, like Menlo Park.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm only kidding.
Rosemary.
Rosemary's about to die.
I'm not, so that's a terrible message, right?
Well, there's
Yeah.
lots of things. Imagine if you could plug in your car when you drove to City Hall.
Are there enough people that would wanna do that?
Oh,
In
absolutely.
Atherton?
Oh, my
Yes,
gosh.
That's for sure.
Well,
More
I-
people own Teslas in Atherton than any other city in the world.
I'm sure that's true.
Yeah. Or
Drive
plug-in
around on
Priuses
Saturdays.
or
It's true.
Volts.
Right.
It's
I have
our
a Volt
town.
and
It really
plug-in
is our
Prius,
town.
so.
Yeah, but they'll go home and plug their cars in, they're not gonna come down here and plug them in. Excuse me.
Oh, if it's a fast juicer.
Imagine sitting in the town green surfing on the internet on your laptop.
There you go.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. Townwide Wi-Fi.
Instead of in front of the library in your car. Hope people do that.
Imagine walking from town hall to the library without having to cross the street.
See, that's good, George, keep going.
That's good.
That is good, actually.
Okay, let's see. How about from the post office? Don't forget, and I don't, you know, people want to hear the post office is still there.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Rosemary, what would you like to say?
I don't know how you would conceptualize this, but a place to like build memories, like for instance, as far as the libraries right now, kids who grow up here in Atherton won't really think that the library is a memory that's been built upon over the years, and that when they're off elsewhere in the country, they reminisce about the library. But, you know, a new town center that's really, you know, as you're envisioning it, the library will be something that they remember. You know, I remember when I was growing up, there was a beautiful library, and so I'm thinking of something that builds memories.
That's
I
neat.
like that.
A new place for new memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
like
place
that.
that builds memories.
There's a pair of jeans out there called Not Your Daughter's Jeans. This is Not Your Parents' Town Hall.
I don't think I'm gonna go there. I'm thinking of some of the people who might be making donations, and I don't know if they'd like.
But building memories is good, I like
I like
that.
that.
A place to build memories.
A place to meet.
I can imagine being in a meeting with the city and not be disrupted by the train.
Wouldn't that be nice?
And being in an insulated council chamber. That's a good one.
Read the DEIR and comment on all the screening that's gonna be taken out.
For the elect.
The noise is going to be much worse, despite what they say. But I must say, my kids could tell you about the library.
Oh, good.
They
I'm
went to
glad.
story time there for years.
Good.
And in terms of convenience, that was one of the reasons I didn't want the library way the heck and gone down in the park. Besides, I wanted the open space protected, but we have ramshackle conditions, but we have convenience. I mean, people in other towns would just hoot to hear this thing about crossing the street, to be able to go from the post office to the library without having to cross the street. I can just hear all those Athertonians, I tell you, they want, I mean, you can come here, go to the police department, ask for vacation kind of attention, mail your stuff, go to the library and return the whatever. I mean, we do have a very, agreed, we certainly need to spruce it up and reorganize it. But our organization isn't too bad in terms of the west side, the east side of town and the west side of town. It's right here in a very short place.
So how about, imagine a new town center that's reflective of the Atherton character, or that's, you know, reflective of Atherton's heritage, reflective of Atherton's residents, you know, or.
It's attractive that it doesn't have a fence that's falling, I mean, you can't put this on the board because it's negative.
But,
It doesn't
you know,
have a
it's gonna
fence
be
that's falling down.
updated,
Doesn't have
right.
the dump out there for the sawdust and the leftover
Right,
trees and the,
Something that,
I mean, it's a mess.
that, imagine a
It's
new
like
town
a
center
prior-
that is,
A reflection of us.
Yeah, reflection of us.
Of you, that's.
Yeah, it takes me to the first comment that we're proud of.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's a powerful money.
That we can be proud of, a place for us to meet, a place for us to hold community,
Over here so people can see it.
events, you know, small community events, intimate community events, a park-like setting.
Park-like setting, that's good.
Imagine a civic center in a park-like setting.
Masking tape or something.
That's beautiful. Did you hear that? A civic center in a park-like setting.
Post it on my
Imagine
seat.
A civic center in a park-like setting.
What did you guys say? The students, come on, guys. You've got good
Oh.
ideas.
No, we were talking about the ingenuity of the gigantic Post-it note.
Oh. That's really
We can
cool.
put anything on these walls and it doesn't make any difference.
Civic center in a park-like setting.
Harkening back to days of yore, the thickly wooded rural environment of our Atherton community.
A place as modern as it is timeless.
Very good.
Mark!
Very good. Very good. You
Modern
gotta
and
get the young
timeless.
people in there too.
Modern and timeless.
Because the young people have money to donate too.
A place, imagine a place where our town staff feel
Proud to work here.
safe, proud, you know.
They feel safe.
Has your committee discussed having any kind of, and I don't know if there's physically, geographically enough room, but amphitheater, someplace where a performance could be, an outdoor performance could be
Wow.
viewed, or a lecture could be held, or.
Well, there's the town green, there's this
Yeah.
acre in the middle of
An acre.
an acre. That's all gonna be treed and with green, you know, where you can, you know, put up seats or, you know.
You can have a small stage, for
Small
instance.
stage, right,
Yeah.
events and.
Mini frost amphitheaters.
Oh, well, I'd love to have that, kind of dig down and make grass seating, stair steps.
Which could just be a sitting area when it wasn't being.
Otherwise, might fill up in a swale.
I was gonna say, we better be careful of the next El Nino.
That's right, isn't it? Yeah.
It might become a pond, a lago.
Well, and you know, I think that, imagine a town center that is environmentally conscious, that, you know, that respects our environment with LEED certified construction and energy saving appliances. Imagine, so some kind of a take on
I
that.
was waiting for
Environmental
something
showpiece.
green.
Yeah, green.
That's
Yeah,
what?
environmental showpiece.
Okay, environmental showpiece.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna come next.
What'd you say, Phil?
That'll cost you.
What'd you say?
Environmental showplace will cost you.
Well, you know,
Somebody else.
step right up and, you know, fund it. Get your name on the environmental showpiece plaque.
I wish there was a way we could capture it without being negative about it, but we're getting rid of the trailers, you know, that you're providing a really superior work environment, but that, unfortunately, I don't think that sells to a lot of people. You know, it's like,
Well, it's got, improve morale or, work productivity. It will improve productivity. I mean, it's,
Imagine an efficient workplace.
Yeah.
You don't want to go overboard because then people start criticizing it. You don't want to say that it's elaborate or.
no,
No.
yeah, a more efficient workplace. Mhm.
The modern one works
Modern,
toward
efficient
that.
workplace.
Modern,
The modern as
efficient.
it is, timeless one works toward
Yeah,
that.
that was, yeah.
Okay.
The short, little,
Yeah.
snippets are better.
Could stick efficiency in there somewhere.
So can we give it some more thought and
If
email
anybody
you?
could email me, yes, because I think.
Should we email who? Maybe we email Gordon and he can disseminate it to everybody? I mean, I know there's a Brown Act. Oh, where'd the attorney go?
He left.
Oh my gosh.
So I guess we should, if anybody has any more words, just send them to, or thoughts, send them to Gordon, and Gordon will disseminate them to everybody.
Isn't that the way we do it?
Yeah, that's
Rather
part, that's
than
right. yeah.
everybody.
But although this isn't really this is more for your
Yeah, this is more for
fundraising committee. It's
yeah.
not actually an item that this committee's deciding.
Okay.
No, we're not deciding
debating.
anything, this is
Right.
just kind of. an
Brainstorming.
Brainstorming.
Right.
But somebody did say that there was some really good words and phrases in the HMC materials, so.
I think
We'll
Mr.
get that-
Lively
we'll get
said,
that out.
yeah.
Who has that? Do you have that?
It's actually online now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, on the town's website.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
anything else?
I'm tapped out.
Thank you all.
Would you like me to type this out and send this to you?
Or can I just take the pages?
Sure.
I mean, I don't see any extra work being given to you for this, I think that I'll just take it here to that group and doesn't have to be on the
Once
minutes.
you get the project management stuff and so that's all another subcommittee right now. One to talk about. Okay, that's the next thing. Great job. That's good. Okay. What? Okay, 6, ad hoc committee reports and information of other ad hoc committees.
Okay, I have a comment. Here we sit as a committee, and we've been doing little since the first of the year, basically. And we have these square footage numbers. The library has grown from what some of the library committee thought was either 7,500 or 8,250, and now we're talking 9,000. The administrative police building is now 22.5 or something like that. And none of this committee that I know of has had an opportunity to go back through the three sets of numbers that preceded this and say, what are good numbers? What should we really have here? Everybody's had a whack at it, but I don't think the committee has. And time's wasted. We wait until we get somebody else on board. That'll be midsummer, it'll be September, it'll be October. What are we waiting for? Why can't we start looking at those numbers?
Well, if we can look at them, we have a couple of placeholders that are over 1,000 to 1,500 square feet. And I think some of those have to be resolved when we decide on where things are gonna be situated.
Well, maybe we ought to make some decisions on first, second, third alternatives. As an example, public space in the library or in the administration building.
Or a town hall, or.
And what do we do with this thing?
Yeah.
Well, I think, Rose, if I may, the council adopted the master plan, and this committee was very clear at that point. They wanted round numbers, no details, as the council adopted those master plans with respect to the square footage of the library and the square footage of the Civic Center main building. There were blocks, that was it. And then this committee was going to then dive into those numbers through a subcommittee once we got the architectural design phase moving along. I think if you jump that cart, Phil, with all due respect, we're going to present something to the design committee and say, this is it, we're not going anywhere, instead of having an interactive discussion with the design going on at the same time.
No, I think we ought to get started on some ideas, not to say this is it, but let's get going. What are we wasting our time for? What are we doing? We're not doing anything. Let's get on with it. Time is wasted.
Any thoughts on that?
Just a thought.
I just don't want to do double work, and I think, I agree with Phil that it feels like time's a wasting, the gears and cogs of government work go very slowly, and it just feels like it's grinding to a halt. But I am afraid that if we get a subcommittee of this committee focusing on nitpicking and trying to whittle down the square footages. At this point, without design input and design, we'll have to do it again during the design phase, because how the building is designed will really make it clearer, I think, of how much space we can actually save in shared situations, what in common areas, things like that, of how the building is designed. And so I think that I'm as anxious as you are, Phil, to get going on something and to get into the nitty-gritty of it, but until we get into more of a design phase, I have a sense
It's a
that,
long way off.
well,
So let me ask a question. Because the library committee was charted to put together square footage for the library. And we did that, and while we didn't go into any kind of architectural issues, we did go into some detail in terms of the components of what would make up the library square footage. And granted, we had a multi-purpose room that was sort of held off to the side, and I think the number that HMC used included that. But I'm not sure what more we can do from the library side. We can go back and look at that. We haven't looked at it in 6 months. We could definitely do that in preparation for when the architecture's done. Before somebody starts proposing to put stuff into a specific design, I don't know what we do exactly.
You know, one of the issues with the library as multi-purpose room was, can we make the library in this building close enough so we could repurpose this and have it work for both? And I don't know that we're able to do that yet until we have somebody on board who can say, well, look at this picture here and see what it would do if you keep that or do that.
Well,
And I
yeah,
don't
so
think we're
that's
gonna
a
do that.
fair point. I mean, one thing we could do is meet and talk about this room and its relationship to the library. We really didn't get into that level.
Well, it's a cost item too, so we need to figure out what we're doing. but-
I think it was, a cost item, and, HMC thought that you really couldn't get the library building close enough because of grade separations and everything. I don't know, I don't see that is a huge issue. I mean, really.
Yeah, but I do think it sort of is design dependent.
It's design dependent,
I
right,
think
exactly.
it's very hard to just do things like that in complete isolation.